AC Nation, to this week's Sneak Peek Thursday. It's up, Totally Medieval. It's at the www.thetotallymedievalgame.com. Come check it out. So this is the site where you can now pre-order Totally Medieval. And I'm going to give you a little bit more information about the game itself. So Historical Conquest was based around history. We want to get kids interested, not just kids, people, players, everybody interested in history. So we created a game that took the games of Magic the Gathering, which I used to play. It's almost like a darker Pokemon, and the game of Risk. And so taking those two, merging them together, and infusing history with them. Basically, it took two different issues that were going on. One, a lot of parents didn't like Magic the Gathering. Two, a lot of kids didn't like history. We merged the two problems together, the two issues, to create the ultimate game. Historical Conquest, actually right here, Historical Conquest. Then we did something different. We actually took, for math, we decided we were going to take the game of math, which it's more well received than history, but there's still a lot of people that don't like it. We created a game that had to do with history, but also was most youth like figurines, like card games, like games. And so we took those two issues and put them together. So now we have a strategy game where you'll actually start up on an adventure. Now this is the old mat. It's totally different now, but because it's not made yet, this is the old map. This is Totally Medieval. This is in its prime phase about 4 years ago when Ethan, my son, designed it. So basically, you start off on one side, your opponent starts on the other. You have your deck goes here, and your discard goes on the other side. Now, at the first part, it was knights versus dragons, but we wanted to go a little bit more into the realistic first, and then we go more into the fictional. So we're starting off with, right now we have the knights and the Viking berserkers. That's right. So you can be either the knights or you can be the berserkers. Next to come out, or one of the next ones to come out, are the dragons. But this also includes other people of both fantasy and historical. We are planning to do the Mongolians. We already have our first Mongolian figurine already made out. We're going to do the samurai. We're going to do African tribal warriors. We're going to do all these different warriors all throughout history. But then we're going to go into the fictional, like the dragons, and we're going to do wizards, we're going to do elves, we're going to do all these different other groups. So the job in the game is to get from your side, your home, to your opponent's home or lair. So if it's a dragon, it'd be their lair. If it's the knights, it'd be their castle. And you go through a lot of different other areas, which you won't know what kind of terrain you're going through until you actually reach there. And since this is a hybrid game, we have both figurines and also cards, where you'll be going through this journey to make it to your opponent's lair or castle, their home, and try to destroy it. And on the way, you'll be meeting up with your opponent on the battlefield. So there's going to be a lot of different abilities that go through this. There's a lot of strategy. But one of the great things that I love about this game is if you take this mat and you take a second mat, you can actually link them together to make the adventure bigger and more difficult, add more people to it. We played a great game of 4 players, which is not that hard with this kind of mat. And because they're coming from all different sides, all the mats actually link up. So even though they might be different terrains and you might have different groups of people, the Vikings, the samurai, the berserkers, the knights, all these different groups, you can actually battle with each other. Now here's where the math comes in. We're still working on, waiting on full approval of our patent. So I can't tell you every single part of it, but in order to make it from place to place, you have to do certain calculations. Now, it's like, trying trying to see how much I can tell you. It's like the roll of dice, but if you don't make the calculations, you don't get to move. The great thing is that no matter if you're learning Algebra 1 or your brother's learning adding up subtracting, you can actually play together. You go on your level of math. And if you don't answer the equation right, you won't be able to go further. So in this part, you'll be able to play a really fun game. You'll be able to practice your math, the math that you're learning at the time, or maybe even something below it, so that you can get more familiar with your math. The great thing is you don't have to focus on the math. You're constantly trying to advance upon your opponent. And then when you meet each other, more calculations will help you in defeating that opponent. So I will continue to tell you a little bit more as we go, but there are certain things that I can't tell you yet. They are coming. We are getting this out. And our first prototype will be here completely by the end of the month, and then we'll be trying it out with a group of players locally. Now, here's where the contest comes in. We want to bring everybody in, as many people as possible. So we're actually opening up pre-sales. These pre-sales are going out with, okay, so it's a discounted price. You're actually getting $10 off. You're getting free shipping. So it's almost $20 off, more than $20 off, because of the shipping cost. But at the same time, we're drawing from all those that pre-order this game, and we're going to choose 4 people, 4 families to beta test the game. Here's the great thing. So from those 4 people, we'll send out a copy of the prototype game. They'll be able to play with it. Then, if they really want to help, we can give them another address, or we can give them our address. They'll send it back, and we'll send it off to another group, because we're going to try to get this around to as many families as possible. So we're going to start off at 4. Then the next session, as soon as they are able to play it, give their advice about it, maybe play it a few times, then they can send it on to the next 4. And then from there, the next 4. We have less than a month to do all this. So it's going to be pretty tight. So as soon as you receive your prototype, and we'll talk about this later, but as soon as you get the beta test it out. Test it out at night. Test it the next day. Play it a few times. And then send it on to the next person. So that as many people as pre-order can get this this version and give us all the insights you can gather, because we want to make this the perfect game right off the bat. So the contest it's a raffle for all those people at pre-order. So you're saving the money from the shipping, discounted price, plus you're going to be able to play the game beforehand, before we even start. So that's a huge value, because it's going to be your insight that makes this game perfect. And you'll be able to share it with others. So you're paying it forward to the next person and to the next person. And then finally those prototypes will come back here, and then we'll ship out the regular version. So I know there's going to be a lot of questions about the game. I challenge you to come up with a question or even some advice on what I just showed you. But this is totally medieval. This is what we're doing. It's very close to what we're doing. There are a little bit of tweaks there. But we want to get your insight. We want to get all the information from you on how to make this the perfect math game, and also the perfect game for everyone to play. So please send us your comments, your questions. Email us. Put them in the comments below. Thank you so much. I await those comments and questions, and even critiques. Even if you think, oh, this is a horrible game, great. Tell us. We want to make it perfect. We want to make it better. We want to make you happy before you even get the final version. So it's through your advice and your critiques that we will make this the great game that it should be. So thanks again. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye. If you have any comments or questions, add them to the comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow, actually. Take care. Bye.